I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me.
Welcome to Millionaire Before 30, where we are on a mission.
That we are. You guys, if you have not seen the show, we have designed this to give you the blueprint of how to become a millionaire before 30. I'm Ryan Zolin.
I am Brent Daniels, Mr. Talk to People, Mr. TTP, and we are absolutely jacked, excited, pumped, on fire. Like this is going to be, this is rare, and this is rare. And this is, you need to take advantage of the next 90 minutes because it can be so impactful into your business because I have Josiah Grimes here. All right. So just so that everybody understands, business partners with Jamil Damji, right? Yep. For Keegley, right? New Reach is your coaching company, is your coaching and training company. What else do you guys got? You've
Franchising.
got franchising with Keegley, right? Not only are you doing 80 plus deals yourself a month, but you guys, I mean, out of all the franchises, it's probably hundreds of deals a month throughout the country. Yep. I mean, really changing the landscape, really giving companies like Homevestors and this type of thing a run for their money, really shaking up the industry in a lot of different ways, not only on finding and creating wholesale opportunities, but also for the coaching and training business. And you're managing, I mean, how many people are on, if you combine all the people that work with you, however you want to do it, right?
Or work with.
How many people is that? How many people do you have right now that you employ?
That is I think we're probably close to, or probably either just a tad above 200 or right around 200.
200.
So,
I love it. That is incredible.
Thanks,
That
man.
is incredible. And of course, we got Albert over here. Albert is popping in and giving us all the good wisdom that he has every single show. Albert, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Good to be here. Good to have everyone looking good on the mics over there.
Wait, you just hear his voice because for some reason his camera is.
I didn't want to see the giant eye.
But he looks amazing though. He looks fabulous. He looks really good. So
he's looking good. So there's Albert.
There
All right.
How we doing,
There's
everybody?
Albert, there's Alejandro, there's Matt. We got a whole group here today, guys. I want you to put your questions in. I want your mind buzzing. We're going to get into this. We're going to get into the meat and potatoes of Josiah's story and his evolution as an entrepreneur here over the first 15, 20 minutes. And then we're going to crack this thing open. Guys, this is an incredible opportunity for you to really, really, really get inside the mind of somebody that's doing amazing things in our business, in our space. So, just real quick, if you guys will just give me a second, I want to tell you how I ran across you. And I don't know if you remember this, but it's probably 2014 or 15. No, it was probably 2016. I was looking to dispo a deal. And so I thought to myself, well, if I go on LinkedIn and I look and I Google Phoenix real estate investor, I'm going to find some people, right? You're the first person that pops up.
Dang, that's good.
Your picture right there, smiling, boom. You have your phone number there, right? So I call you up. I say, I've got this deal. Do you do wholesale, this type of thing? And you're like, yeah, bro. I've got so many buyers. I've got people looking for things all over the place. What do you got? I'm going to get this sold for you, or we're going to do it, right? And so I sent you over the deal, and you texted me about 18 minutes later and said, yeah, bro, got it sold. Yeah. What are you making on it? $12,000? Awesome. Yeah. So that was our first deal, and we did many more after that. And then you told me of this mystery guy that was out there doing a lot of deals, moving and shaking, and you wouldn't tell me his name. His name was very private.
That sounds about right.
And then I found out that it was Jamil Damji, which is hilarious, that he was so mysterious in the beginning, and he did that on purpose, and then really grew the business and made it something exciting. And, you guys ended up doing so much business together, right, that you guys partnered up.
Yeah.
So walk us through that, because you started, I mean, you got into this business at 18, 17?
Yeah, 17, yeah.
All right, so talk to me about that.
Yeah, so yes. So kind of my life, probably a lot of people watching or whatever, I had that entrepreneurial bug, right? Where even from probably when I was like 4 years old, I was like, man, I want to invent, I want to create a business, and I want to make lots of money, right? It was my very selfish ambition when I was really little.
Sure.
But yes, and that was something my mom encouraged me, so I tried lots of different things like snack shops and, whatever. I tried making money online, internet marketing. That was a blast. Made no money. Spent a lot of money on stuff. That was great. Good times. And so then I went to like a pitch-a-thon, essentially, so like a seminar where someone comes up and talks about something really cool for an hour, and then they give you an opportunity to participate, and they're like, hey, so for $1,000 you can join this, or you can do this. And I was like, at 17 years old, I was like, this is the best event in my entire life.
Yeah.
This is amazing. This is awesome. There's so many cool ideas here, so many ways to make money. And so one of the guys, of course, I had no money, right? So I couldn't buy anything, which was maybe also helpful, because then I could, I feel like I got a little bit wiser and could be more specific in what I chose.
Sure.
But there was a guy, and he was like, so I took $10, I can take $10 and make $30,000 in real estate. And I was like, huh? Like, what? I'd listened to all the Rich Dad Poor Dad stuff, right? And so my plan was like, okay, real estate is stuff that you do after you've done everything else.
After you've made the money.
After you've made the money,
That's what you buy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what you invest in.
Exactly. And so then you invest, and then you make your 7% cap rate or whatever return on your money, and you just kind of cruise, and you try to build up a portfolio, and that's
long-term slow wealth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So when he said $10 and you make 30 grand in real estate, I was like, something is wrong. Like, what the heck? And so I didn't talk much. Like, I don't think I asked one question that whole event, right? But afterwards, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go find this guy. I was like, hey, so just to clarify, when you said $10 like $10,000, right? Or he's like, no, like $10. And I was like, what? Like, dang, bro, okay. And so I was like, okay, cool. I don't know if I believe you, but that's awesome, right? So then I kind of, it was probably a week later. I was getting my hair cut, and I was talking to the guy that cuts my hair, and I was like, hey, man, I was at this event, and this guy said that he could take $10 and make 30 grand in real estate. Have you ever heard of that? And he was like, oh, yeah, like I cut the hair of a guy that does that all the time. I was like, what? So long story short, that led to me tracking that guy down. It was Cody Sperber, tracking that guy down.
Yep.
Did an internship with him, interned for free for, I don't know, probably a year or something like that. And then
I remember seeing you on the YouTube videos.
Dude,
and
it was
things, and
good times, bro. Good times, man.
At the seminars, and you were on stage at one point.
Yeah, it was
cool.
It was a blast, dude. So that was a really cool experience. I learned a ton from that. But yeah, so interned there, then worked there, then was partners with Cody, and then broke off. So that was really, God hooked me up. You know what I mean? Like, he gave me a great avenue. I didn't really think I was going to be in real estate. I didn't really want to be in real estate. I wanted to make money online where I didn't have to talk to people.
Right.
Because, like, when I was 17, dude, like, I was scared. I think what you do is amazing because you help so many people get to where, like, talking on the phone is second nature and it's easy.
Right.
And you've got such a great stance on how you go after that. Where, like, when I was 17, that was legit my biggest objection to being able to do this business. Because I couldn't, like, if you're like, go order a pizza, that was hard.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, those people that work at Pizza Hut, man, they're different than me. Like, they're smarter, they're older. Those are adults, right? And so, yeah, so it was great, man, breaking through that. And then...
But then you had to talk to people.
Then
you
were
had talking to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because you were building up. You were doing the Keegley model, and I don't know if it was just something that you naturally, like, that was your strategy off the bat. But your lead generation was referrals, right?
So,
or were you doing mail? Were you doing internet leads? Were you sourcing your own deals?
Good question. So when I stopped working with Cody, we kind of separated to do our own thing. It was like, at that point, you know what I mean, if we could get like if I could get like 2 deals in a month or whatever, like that was dope. Right? And that was like off of mailers, and some SEO stuff.
Yeah.
And we're like, wow, that's really good. And so when I started working with Jamil closely, I remember the first time I met Jamil, it was at like a charity event type thing, and I was talking to Jamil, and you're just like kind of casually trying to collect some information. I was like, hey man, like, so how many deals did you do last month? And he's like, 14. I was like, 14, bro. Whoa, dang. Like no one was doing 14 deals that I knew of that was doing 14 deals. Maybe Brent, but like no one I knew was doing 14 deals, right?
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap, dude. And I was like, then the next thing is you have to like clarify, right? You're like, okay, so like 14 deals, is that like 14 contracts signed? Is that like, you thought about 14 deals, while you were sleeping? Or is that like you brought the deal in, signed a contract with the seller, then found a buyer, signed a contract with the buyer, and they deposited earnest money, and it's closing, right? And even that's different than what did you close? And he's like, no, like I closed 14 deals last month.
Right.
I was like, holy crap, right? And so it was that piece from Jamil, which was phenomenal.
Right.
On acquisitions, like the way that he works acquisitions is just beautiful, right? And what he had developed there. So that was amazing. Then on the other side, I have this really cool partner named Hunter Runyon. I don't know if you guys know Hunter.
Yeah, of course.
So like Hunter's bananas, man. Like Hunter sold 50 deals while he was 18 and didn't take a phone call.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember getting Facebook DMs from Hunter on a weekly basis, and I was like, this dude looks like he's 12, 13, 14 years old, right? No, I mean, he looked very, very, very young, right?
Yep.
And I was like, this is crazy, but I love his, like, hustle, because if you responded, which I did just to, kind of get an idea, because after so many reps, you're like, okay, wait a second, I need to find out what's going on here.
Yeah.
And so I sent him something and instantly responded. So listen, talking to people and communicating with people, it comes in different forms. It comes in different avenues, right? I mean, most of us text. Most of us, we get a phone call, and if it's not our mom, we're kind of like,
whoa, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
seriously.
Like I mean,
Seriously,
that's kind of the natural reflex. I feel like. In your guys' generation, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not. It's more communicating through text, and but it's still communicating. And the important thing that he did, just to put a feather in his cap, is he was very responsive. That is the number one thing when it comes to communication. I don't care if you can barely speak the language. I don't care if you don't have this big thesaurus, vocabulary. You stumble and fumble over words, or you have a stutter, or whatever else. If you are there, if you just show up and are consistent, respond. I think it's 90% of it is just like being available. It is.
I think, and to that point, like, for instance, we've got when I was the one actually taking the calls and selling the deals, we would have like people that would call that don't speak a lick of English, right? Like Spanish-speaking buyers that would call and they don't speak English. I don't speak Spanish, but we would just kind of figure crap out on the call. But since we were responsive to each other, I mean, there's a few of them. There's probably 4 or 5 I can name that I sold more than 10 properties to.
Yeah.
Right. And it was, like, it was good for us, and it was really good for them, good for their clients. And
address and price.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And they're like,
exactly.
we'll take it. Wow. So, okay, so you guys you've got Hunter. It was you two first, right? It was you and Hunter?
Yeah.
You guys partnered up first?
That's a great question. We were, I would say that.
Somebody else.
Rahima, Jamil's sister, right?
Projects, right?
Yeah. And so Rahima, wow. Ramil, hey, you can find both good. All right, don't tell him I did that. All right, anyhow, yeah. So
I'm gonna clip this.
Just clip that right out, please. Yeah, thanks. Great, thanks. But yeah, no. So Rahima was focused on the projects, and when we were first starting, she was also running an agent team. So, which was really cool. But Hunter solved the problem on the buyer side, right? So a lot of that like heavy outreach and systematizing those processes that brought in the buyers. So he had this buyer component, which was phenomenal. So he had just a huge base of buyers and a system for bringing them in. And then Jamil had this phenomenal acquisition strategy to bring in deals. And so I was sitting in the middle, and I was like, wow, I have the best job ever. Hunter's on this side of me, and Jamil's on this side, and I just sit in the middle and feel really happy about myself. Yeah. So so that was kind of where really we had 2 systems that were working phenomenally, and marrying them together was what created Key Glee. And so, Yeah.
So was that your job? Was your job marrying them together? Was your job, is it visionary? Is it like, okay, I think we can franchise this at some point? I think that we can grow this at some point? Was it, we just want to stay local in Arizona and just dominate? Like what was the vision if you get in the DeLorean and go back 5 years, what does that look like? What are those conversations in your old dingy office? It was terrible.
My house or the office. Yeah, the office was great too.
Yeah, I mean, it was a rough office compared to what you have now.
Yeah, compared to this, dude. Dang.
Yeah. No, but you guys, what was the vision 5 years ago for? I mean, you guys were doing a lot of deals. Why not just do deals, take the money, and buy real estate, and just that's the model, right? Yep. Why invest more in your company? Why try to franchise that? That costs hundreds of thousands, if not. I mean, it costs a lot to go through franchise. I know. I've looked into what that costs, and it is. I mean, it's never ending. It's a black hole of costs.
That's kind of true. Yeah. So I think a lot of that is impact that we want to drive. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's really
impact.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, yes, there's a point where you're like, oh, money is really cool and it's exciting. What's more exciting is impact, and what's maybe the most exciting is when you're able to do impact and have it generate money, right? Because it's successful financially, but it's also impacting the people's lives that are part of it, and that's what's really fun. Like when you can find a match like that, you're like, wow, this is phenomenal. So maybe to speak a little bit to what you mentioned, like, so what was my job in that? And so there's normally there's a visionary, there's an integrator, something like that. Whereas ours is a little bit different, right? So Jamil and I played both functional roles because I was selling a lot of the deals. Right. So Hunter was genning a lot of Hunter was also selling deals. Hunter was genning buyers. I was genning buyers, and then we were both selling. And then Jamil was working on the acquisition
Generating
side.
means gen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good looking
building your cash buyer database.
Yeah. There you go. Exactly.
Guys, if you have questions about building your cash buyer database, any questions, and you don't ask them during this show, you are missing a huge opportunity. These guys are the best of the best of the best at sourcing the biggest and robust cash buyer database. I mean, you guys are doing this around the country, and you guys are building them up from 10 to 80,000 buyers in each market that you're in, and people are coming to you around the country to sell their deals. Because you guys have the best buyers. You guys have the most buyers.
Thanks, dude.
Right?
Thanks. That's what that's kind of our gig.
So guys, if you have questions about that specifically, I'm telling you, this is the window.
Right. Love it. Yeah. Awesome. So man, so it was kind of visionary to some extent. Jamil also fills that extremely well. Of course. Right. And then building out the systems to systematize. So Jamil's doing something absolutely fantastic, and you want to spread that to a team. Okay, well, you can't just be like Jamil, right? You gotta. There has to be an extra piece there. Where you're saying, okay, this is what he's systematically doing. Cool. How can I make that so that someone can replicate that, and that turns into a checklist? Yeah. Right? Because they have to start with the checklist, then they can grow to be like that natural, intuitive acquisitions rep, right? But first you got to start with, okay, how can I break this down to all of its base pieces, and then how can I put it so that it can be managed, right? So like for instance, something that's wild, dude. Like Jamil, when he was first starting, he was making calls. He would say 50 connects a day. So not 50 calls a day, like 50 connects where they actually talk. Like that's wild, right? And so now Jamil just naturally does that. He knows he's got to do it, so he sits down and he pounds that out. Yep. If you hire someone in, right, you could love them to death. They're awesome. Every now and then, you're going to get someone that's extremely highly conscientious and industrious, and they're going to sit down and they're self-driven and they're going to do that. 99% of the time, that's not going to be the case, right? And so you want to be the one that has the systems to be able to manage to them, so that you can encourage them, so you can motivate them, so you can help them achieve their highest potential. But before you can help them with their numbers, you have to know what their numbers are, right? And you have to have given them something that you're holding them accountable to. Yep. So there's lots of systems, things like that you need to put in place. And so that was kind of, I gotta live in that space a little bit. And then also building out the database, like how are you going to track your leads, how are you going to track your deals, where's all your money, all that fun stuff. So I had the blessing of kind of living in getting to play a little bit in all realms as we were growing the business. So that was good.
So I've got a question then. Yeah. What led to Astro? Because obviously that's how we got connected. Yep. What was the vision with that? I think kind of like what Brent was asking earlier was when you were going in vision-wise, was it long-term going to be education space because of impact? Or did that just kind of come on your plate one day and you're like, Astro Flipping?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, good question, man. It was a couple of things, honestly. So One was that you get asked a lot of people ask, hey, you're doing a lot of deals.
Of course.
I want to do deals, and how do I do that? And so like I tried training a couple of my friends, and I realized like, dude, I can't do that. Like I can't train people one-on-one like that and do the business.
Right.
It's like literally impossible. So it's like, okay, well, how much time would it take for me to actually build this out, right? And for Jamil and I to build this out, and we're looking at it, and it's like, oh, that's a lot of hours. You know, and you're like, that is a lot of time to build this out so that it's going to be as detailed as it needs to be to have the impact that we want to drive, right? Of
course.
Because it's not worth, so like it's not worth putting out there if it's not going to drive the impact. But to drive the impact, it's got to be, to drive the impact, it's got to be phenomenal. And so then it's like, if it's going to be phenomenal, it's going to take a lot of time. So I need a lot of people that actually want to do this, right? And so that was kind of a lot of people were saying, hey, how do you do this? Tried to train a couple of people one-off. And I realized I was going through a lot of the same material, but just one-on-one basis.
Yep.
So from there, it was like, okay, well, let's take the plunge, man. Like, worst case scenario, we create the most phenomenal course we possibly can, and it crushes, and 3 people use it. You know what I mean? We're like, awesome, high fives all around. You guys enjoy the course. I hope it changes your lives. Best case scenario, right? We get to create, and this was a lot on Jamil's heart, was community, right?
Yep.
Because Jamil is such a community-oriented guy, which is like, I love that guy. And so to him, it was, hey, we could use this as a catalyst for like a really, really cool community, right? Where people are encouraging each other, helping each other. Like when we got in the business, it wasn't that way, right? When we got in the business, like people were beating each other up at the auctions. There was like a bunch of
closed off.
Yeah, dude. It was super closed off. Like no one's telling you anything. No one's helping you with anything. It was absolutely competition, no collaboration. And so we said, hey, I think that if we were to build this correctly, right? And we're able to train people coming in that are like good people.
Yeah.
Right? And train them the tenets that we know work well in the business that are different from all of those super like hyper competitive and nasty, nasty practices. If we're able to train them, we could probably create a really cool community and actually have like legit cultural impact here.
Love it.
And that was cool. And so that was like where we're like, all right, let's do it. And so that was like, let's freaking do that. And then for franchising, it's like, hey, what's the next step in that direction that goes even further, right? Like, so we could open the corporate stores, right? We could open each individual corporate store, or we can bring in people, especially from that community. We're able to bring in people and say, hey, next level is let's actually open a Key Glee in that market. And it's cool, right? You get to see.
Yeah, why not just expand your own business? Why franchise it? Why open it up to other owners of your system? Why wouldn't you just spread this thing out as your own, under your own umbrella that you have full control over, and you just hire people for those roles? Why franchise?
Yeah, wait, go ahead. Yeah.
No. Go.
It's amazing. It's an amazing question, and one that we sat there and pondered back and forth a lot. And I think it's two parts. One, so we still have corporate growth, which I think is important because we've got people in our corporate stores that are phenomenal individuals. And so by growing the company, you can grow roles that they can assume, right? You can grow their earning capacity. You can grow the level of responsibility that they assume. In the actual company.
Doing deals company.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, in the actual doing deals company.
Yeah.
And so there's still a passion for that, right? And that's cool. One, franchising provides velocity towards the goal. So we want to have cultural impact, and franchising allows us to do that faster. So
when you say cultural impact, do you mean the real estate industry?
Yes.
Got it.
Yep. Sorry, cultural impact within the real estate industry, right? So like for instance, Brent, you're a leader in the real estate industry.
Right.
If you come on this podcast and you tell everyone that like, hey, the way to get a deal is you got to kind of like sucker punch people, and you got to, the industry will like chew you up and spit you out. So you got to be the first to punch the other person, right? Otherwise you're getting punched. Right. So if you're spreading that, obviously people watching, now some of them are gonna be like, that's not for me, I'm out, right?
Of course.
But you're gonna have an impact on a chunk of them, right? And then those people are going to have an impact on people. And then that's how so culture within the real estate space can get swayed this way or that based on who's guiding.
Love it.
Right?
Love it.
Why it's great that you guys have a podcast, just saying.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But so that was velocity to impact was part of it. And then the other part of it is just if you've got a student and they're doing well, or they're doing well, but they're like, not quite there. Franchising is like, dude, like we are perfectly aligned.
Yes.
Right. And and then the other thing too is if you've got a student that's like absolutely crushing it, and you're like, hey, dude, you're crushing it with what you have right now. Like, bro, if I give you these things, like this is gotta be bananas, right? It's gonna be amazing, and like that's so fun. So like pulls them into the fold, and that's just such a cool, like, then it's perfect alignment. It's ridiculously fun. They're the owner, right? So like, because these people are entrepreneurs, right? And so the opportunity has to be where they own it, and we can amplify their success as much as possible.
Got it.
So,
Got it.
So then going in with franchising, are you guys pretty hands-on with that, with like training? Do you fly them out? What does that process look like from the minute they buy the franchise to
It's intense.
Yeah.
Good question. Yeah, good question. Intense, and we like, I feel like we're always, it's so fun to, the one thing that's amazing about education and about franchising is how like, you get it to where it's really good and it's producing the result you want. You're like, that's cool. Sweet, you can always make that better. Right, like you can always collect more feedback and iterate more on your process, right? And be like, hey, so right now what it looks like is it's about 40 hours of training online before you come in. Then they come in for launch week. Launch week is a week in office, right? That's got like early morning till late night training, right?
Yep.
After that, then you're paired with a franchise specialist. You're still in Keighley University essentially for 6 months. And so there's different training points throughout those 6 months. We do an owner call once a month, and you've got a weekly with your franchise specialist. And then every morning at 8 is leadership team, the franchising team. So I'll review progress for all franchisees, and then make notes. And then those notes go to those weekly meetings with franchises. So there's also like bi-weekly AC and dispo trainings and fun stuff like that.
Love it. Yeah. Let's switch tracks a little bit here. Let's get tactical. Let's get into the nitty gritty.
Yes.
Right. And I want to kind of open this conversation with, what is your thoughts on hustle? You know what I mean? Like I want to give you a second here to kind of like think about it, and I'd like to hear Albert's the kind of thought as well, because I think he's really insightful about these things. But hustle is in my approximation is a season. It's not a lifestyle.
Yep.
I think that as you're growing a business and it is you and you're out there and you're fighting and clawing to provide value out of thin air, we are literally, it's coming from our brains to our mouths to doing stuff out in our communities. We literally, entrepreneurs, create value out of nothing. We're not relying on something that's already established. We're not relying on a job and a paycheck. We have to go and eat what we kill and provide value out there. And so you got to put a lot of work into it. And then how long does that last? What's the expectations of that? How do you avoid burnout? How do you avoid destroying all your relationships? How do you avoid, you know what I mean? How do you avoid, what, Albert, what's your thoughts on hustle?
When you said the word hustle and I was thinking about it, I thought about it. It's like a flame inside of you, right?
Okay.
It will only be lit as much as you feed it the right things, right? Oxygen and fuel to burn, right? And like you said, it is a season. It does go down, it does go up. I mean, there are days where I'm like, I don't want to call anybody, or I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
But then the hustle is accepting the responsibility that I'm not getting paid because I'm not doing anything to get paid.
Right.
Versus the corporate role, it's just like you cannot do anything and still get paid.
Right.
But if you truly want to hustle, it's really like taking this and turning it into action, and then creating that motivation inside of you that, oh, I did something today. I provided value, and you keep going and going. But it's hard. It is not easy. And for anyone who says or even showcase that it's easy, that's your highlight reel. Yep. They don't know when you're down in the dumps, you're waking up, crack of dawn, you're like, I don't want to do this. But, the hustle is getting inside you, getting that voice inside your head to like, no, I'm doing this today. You overcome your own little voice inside your head that tells you don't do it. So that's human nature.
Nice. Ryan, what do you think?
Dude,
fire right now.
How do I follow that up?
I know.
For a second.
That's why I'm giving our guest a little buffer.
I appreciate
you're taking the shots. But
go ahead and hop out.
So no, for me, hustle, dude. Like, I think I agree with what you guys just said. I mean, I'm human too. I wake up and there's days where I'm like, oh gosh, but it's more powerful for me to like connect it to a why.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have a why and a vision, you don't have hustle or the motivation to even do the hustle. So that's where we've talked about this before, and it's the 70% mindset rule, 40% action. It's always the one person that's like, it's over 100%. Absolutely. But if I told you that in this industry, 70% of it's up here, and then 40% of it's deployed out to what you do, I don't know another job or industry that you could put in less than 50% effort and go and make $250,000 a year.
Right.
So.
Right.
I don't know. Hustle's deep.
Yeah.
No, dude, that's good. Yeah, super good.
What do you got?
Well, I think about it maybe a couple of different ways. So, one, I think about like, have you ever heard of Big Five traits?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
well, sweet. So you know how there's like Myers-Briggs and Enneagram and DISC and all that stuff. So Big Five traits, I feel like, so those are more pseudoscience, can be very useful in limited applications. I feel like Big Five traits is a more scientific way to approach like a person, like someone's personality, right? And so what they do, the axiom that you have to accept is something like all human behavior shows up in language, something like that.
Yep.
And so, and I can't remember who I learned this from, but this is not my stuff, right? So like, just bear with me here. But
I have none of my own stuff except for talk to people.
Yep.
That's it. And I don't even know if that's it.
That's
But,
awesome.
So go ahead.
Dope. So anyhow, with that, one of the traits is conscientiousness, right? And conscientiousness breaks down into like orderliness and industriousness. And industriousness is like one of the biggest indicators on how well someone's going to perform in their job, right? And basically that industriousness is like the trait of I want to get after it. I'm going to freaking work hard. I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to wake up early and go to sleep late and I'm going to work. And so some people I think are born with more of that, right? Anyone can work to that and build that in.
Yeah.
But I feel like some people are, when people talk about work-life balance, I think it's person specific.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sure.
Because some people are programmed, like for instance, my mom, right?
Yeah.
My mom is insane. My mom works harder than anyone else I know. She will work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, take a break for church on Sunday, right? The thing that's weird though is like, you know how we talk about like, okay, you don't want to do that for a long period of time. If my mom stops doing that, right?
Yeah.
She gets like, and this is me too. Like if I stop working hard, I get kind of like a melancholy, like, what am I doing with my life?
Sure.
Type of feeling.
Sure.
And so I think based on kind of maybe who God made you, and then also like the purpose, plan, desire that he's placed in your heart, you probably want to plan work-life balance off of that. Right. And so I think there's a place where,
I love it.
yeah, so I think there's a place where you're like, man, I really have to hustle and grind to get back to where I have the balance that I want, work-life balance that I want. I also think that there's and so for some people that are like, dude, I'm used to a really relaxed lifestyle. They're probably like the most fun person to be around. Like that's the person that brings the life to the party, all that stuff. Like that person is really cool. So it's not like that's bad.
I find those people are very much in the moment. They're very present.
Yep.
Which is great. Because they'll listen to you and they're there and they're not thinking and off and distracted
Super true.
and weird and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like the most present people. But they just, they got dirty houses. Their blinds are always closed.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's awesome.
They're on their phone playing, some sort of Candy Crush.
Yeah.
Whatever it
Totally.
is,
But yeah, so for that person, they're gonna step into a season of hustle to get the results that they want, and then they're gonna ratchet back down.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas some people are like, dude, they're high conscientiousness, and so like their season of hustle is just always. Right. And those are the type of people that are say, hey, I hit this level. Cool. Now I would actually really like to hit the next level.
Yeah.
Right. And if you tell that person like, hey, you need to slow down and take a break, otherwise you're going to hit burnout. That's actually how they burn out. Like they burn out by being reduced. Like if I get on day 3 of vacation or day 2 of vacation.
Yeah, of course.
Like with kids, it's better now. Now I can go longer. But like day 2 of vacation.
Start getting itchy.
Dude, I get like a melancholy kind of like, like what am I doing? Like what is this about? Like what like. So that's I would define hustle as I like the concept of punctuated, but based on someone's like work-life balance, like desired work-life balance. It could be punctuated hustle. You have to hustle in order to get success.
Well, and I always think that whole work-life balance is kind of a trick that employees play on entrepreneurs. They're like, well, you make all the money, but you're on your phone all the time. And it's like, yeah, I'm on my phone, and my son's seeing me provide value to the community. So what's what?
Yeah.
Just because you can turn off your professional life here doesn't mean that I'm not teaching my sons something important about providing value to somebody that needs help right now. You know what I mean?
No,
like
totally.
it's a weird different type of tweak to it. Like, oh, he's texting, or he's on the phone, or he's on a meeting, or he's traveling, or he's doing this and that. And it's like, yeah, but I'm home all the time, right? I'm around the kids all the time. I'm there. If I need 30 seconds to send a text message, that's not going to disrupt my child's childhood. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like,
yeah. I mean, you've also got like kind of this workaholic thing that's really in pop culture and things like that, like the workaholic dad or workaholic mom, that type of stuff. That's really crept in probably over the past 30, 40 years, something like that, where that's been identified as like, hey, this is a problem. But then also you see it in Hollywood movies and stuff.
Yeah, but that's ego. That's just people that... Every time I hear something like that and they're like, yeah, I got to go and I'm never home because I go to happy hour every day with all the, different people that I connect with. It's like, that's a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, that's not business.
Yeah,
Get out of here. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think it's Jamie Dimon that talks about like work-life balance. And Jamie Dimon's the CEO of Chase Bank, right?
Yeah.
And so like they did like $32 billion in profit last year.
Sure.
So ridiculous. Like I think maybe second to Apple.
Listen, you want to build a good business, be a bank.
or title.
Or title.
Yeah.
Did you see that PropStream just sold for $175 million?
Yeah, I did. Crazy, dude.
Yep.
Congrats to them, man.
PropStream just
Very
sold
cool.
$175 million to Stewart Title, the top 10 worst title company. No, whatever.
So, wow. It's awesome. Hey, they're working on it, bro. That's why
They're working on it.
PropStream.
Yeah,
But,
they're investing.
But yeah, man. So he was talking. Guy works extremely hard, right? And he was talking about, hey, a lot of that is actually choices, right? If you on Saturday, if you're going golfing with the buddies, and then you get a drink at the, then you go grab a drink, and then you go home, you got to take a nap, so you can wake back up. Like, okay, that's a choice, and that's not like, yeah, that's bad work-life balance.
Well, listen, we wake up every day with a choice. That's it. We wake up every single day to determine what we're going to do with the next 24 hours, right? We do. I mean, are there responsibilities? Sure. Can you shirk them? Yeah. Can you take them seriously? Yeah. Can you go out and provide value? Yeah. Can you sit on your ass and just kind of mope around? Yeah. There's choices in this country. You could do it. You literally can. I mean, it's wide open. We're all programmed because we go to school and we woke up and we had to go to school. That's the law, right? You have to go to school. But once you're 18, what's the law? You got to work? Nope. You don't have to. I mean, you could find somebody that pays your bills. You could stay at home. You could do nothing. I mean, every day we wake up with a choice to do what we want to do. So what do we want to do? Do we want to do things that give us energy? Do we want to do things that drain us of energy? Do we want to go out and are we in a hustle season? Are we in a visionary season? What are we doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's really interesting to look at this whole idea of, free will and and the options that we have in this country to do, and what do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? What are your dreams? And listen, it's going to take it's going to take some time to build momentum, to pull from the air income, and find something that you could be of service to our community. That's it.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's a huge play of, you talk about the hustle being workaholics, and it's a lot of things that, for us, the younger generation, we are just bombarded with information and the media saying, don't be a workaholic, work-life balance. And they're just pushing this narrative to us like, be happy. Happiness is more than money. I'm like, no, money is money. Like, money is a tool that makes it easier to be happy, sure. But I think for a lot of...
I love that they do that, Albert. I love that people are pushing that way. I love that people are being real. Be selfish.
Yeah, but remember when remember when you're a kid and your parents, teachers like, oh, you can be anything you want to be. But as we get older, society's, be a little more realistic. And I think the problem is the people are pushing that narrative. They haven't felt one of the most powerful emotions that we as humans can feel, which is desperation and fear. When you feel those two emotions, you do things that you never thought you would do. Like if you're fearful for your life, you will do things that you never thought you would do. If you're desperate to survive in society, pay your rent, you're going to go out there and suddenly talk to people, and you hate talking to people, right?
That's it.
Because you're feeling that desperation, that fear. And, society doesn't feel that enough. We're too comfortable. We're too easygoing. Like, I'll wait for my stimulus check. I'll wait for the government to bail me out.
But listen, I
the
love
hustle
that.
isn't there.
I love it because people that have brains like us, that have that entrepreneurial spirit,
right?
Get out of line.
We win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get out of that line.
I honestly feel no competition for anything ever. I really don't. I feel like the pie is so huge and they just keep shoving in more stuff into this pie for us all to eat, and we're just like, what? This is crazy. All we have to do is like take action and be of service. Like this is bananas. This is fantastic because more people are just kind of like, figuring things out, and that's fine. If you're in that, you want to figure out what you have and what you want to do with your life and all that stuff, but people make a whole life of this. I'm 40 40 now, I have friends that still are doing this at 40, and it's going to be like that forever. And I've got family members, I've got older people that I know just from neighborhood or growing up or whatever else. It's the same old thing. The government's always doing this, and this is this, and rich people are this, and there truly is no competition if you want to go out and really build something special. I just believe that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Love abundance.
Should we start? Do we have some questions? Okay. Sorry guys, we have been going. Yeah.
Albert's just dropping all types of good stuff, man. Dang.
Bro, Albert's the best.
All right, we should
Albert's
bring you in
the
more
best.
often, bro. So
Yeah. Yeah. I've been consuming information for too long and finally took action. I made my first few cold calls. I was absolutely terrified, but I did it. Soon you'll be ringing. You know what, Justin? I'm going to ring the bell for you for just taking that action, brother.
Nicely done.
Listen, listen, but the next one, Justin, it better be that deal. It better be a deal. we ring it for deals, but that's taking action. I love it.
Nice.
Listen, that's how you start. It's just one step. Boom. Keep going. Pull it out of the air. Pull it out of the air. It comes through your voice. It comes through this thing. We have such an advantage having this thing with us all the time. You can do that. The microphone on this device is the most powerful tool you have in your business.
Nice work, Justin, dude. Crushing it.
Ooh, from Leonard. I'm a truck driver, so may try to get a deal is a little difficult for me, but I would love to partner up with someone for my first deal quick. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Comment in the put in the comments what market you're in, and if you guys are there, squad up. I know we've got a bunch of Astro Flipping students watching this, so
love it.
let's all find a way
This
to
is my
collaborate.
cousin.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There we
Leonard
go.
Daniels.
Let's go.
There it is.
Love it.
No, Leonard, listen, I think that you could probably speak to this as like nobody else.
Right.
You partner up with everybody to find these opportunities. So what advice would you give Leonard if he found a deal? What should he do?
Dude, I mean, that's just like the biggest softball
When
ever,
you find
bro.
a deal. When you feel.
Call who?
Call who? Call Keegley in your area, and they'll sell for you. So I think, dude, I think the biggest thing, right, if you've got limited time, then you want to leverage. And so there's two places you can leverage. It's either on finding and building your buyers list and building those relationships, because finding the buyers and building those relationships both take time. And so you can have, let's say that you find 10 buyers today. Now, someone there might buy from you, and that's awesome. But it's more likely if you had 100 that have known you for 6 months or a year, right? And so if you don't have time to build that and you have a deal, you want to plug in and leverage someone else's buyers list and relationship and energy they've placed in that list to get that deal sold, right? And so, we're giving up a bit of the profit, but honestly, they probably can sell it higher than what you would have been able to sell it for. And so, one, it actually gets sold because, remember, we're working on limited time frames with wholesaling. So it actually gets sold. That's dope. And then, two, you've got kind of a long-term relationship. You can focus just on bringing in deals. The other side that you can focus on leveraging is the acquisition side. So the acquisition side, right, this is Brent's domain. He's an absolute stud here. But the acquisition side, again, there's a process there. So that process either looks like I'm texting, I'm cold calling, I'm sending mailers, I'm spending money on marketing, I'm setting up marketing, sending it, waiting to get a call in, then I'm negotiating for a few weeks, then I finally get the contract signed, which, if you're Brent, obviously they negotiate in like 35 seconds, no big deal, but most people, a couple weeks. And so there's time on that side as well. And so you can also leverage that, right? Going out, finding people that have a deal, you're the buyer, you say, hey, what do you have? I'm looking for a deal. They say, hey, check out this deal. You get the deal, you say, okay, that deal looks pretty decent. Cool, I've got a buyer for it. Sweet, you partner with them, you're able to sell it. You can also micro flip, or you sit in the middle and you leverage both sides,
there you
go. Wait. What's a micro flip?
What's a micro flip? Oh, snap. Okay, check it out, y'all. So that's awesome. Yeah. So we just talked about you can leverage the dispo side by plugging into a dispo wholesaler, right? Yeah. You can leverage the acquisition side by plugging into an acquisitions wholesaler. Those are kind of academic words, but do you guys get the point, right? Someone that brought the deal and then someone that can sell the deal.
Yep.
And so you can sit in between those two, right? And they bring the deal to you. Now, there's a difference between daisy chaining and micro flipping, right? So daisy chaining, you go out, you don't even talk to the guy, you see his email, you mark it up 10, you send it out to your list, right? Like that's a daisy chain.
And then you call them and say, hey, I want to buy it.
Yeah, can you cut me in 5?
Right,
or whatever, right?
Right.
So there's no permission there. It's sloppy. And the buyer can likely find that deal on this other person's list, right? Micro flipping, you're getting in front of that. So you're building a relationship with the wholesaler to say, hey, I'm going to be your dispo partner. So you don't send this deal to anyone else. You exclusively give it to me for X amount of days, and I'll get it moved for you, right? So that way you're providing value. Your buyer can't go find that deal somewhere else, right? You can get more risky, right? When they're like, oh, you're going to have a non-exclusive and I'm going to send it out elsewhere as well. You can do that once you have a stronger buyers list, but
we don't need to go there.
Right.
Yeah, Leonard, a ton of different opportunities there. If you're going to find your deals, find an ugly house, talk to the homeowner and get it locked up. I mean, that's the simple kind of formula there.
Mine's all complex as crap.
No.
Yeah, dude, Brent's like, yo, bro, I'll just bring it back and give this.
No, but on the flip side, if you're loud, Leonard, about what you're doing out there, and you're documenting your story, documenting your progress, documenting how excited you are about finding and helping out people that are in distress in your community, and going to these properties and walking through ugly houses and pulling your lists and driving for dollars and showing this whole story, people are going to be like, hey, I've got this opportunity, or I have this deal, can you help me sell it? And that's what you're talking about with a micro flip. So it's not just necessarily, listen, you can tell your story from, I'm a truck driver, I'm driving trucks, I'm doing this, but I have this heart to be an entrepreneur, and this is what I'm going to do. I am telling you, without fail, every single person that I have seen document their story starts doing free deals. They start doing free deals. People start bringing them referrals, and that's the start. And then you just start building that up and building that up and building that up. So I like that. You got it.
I was looking at this one real quick for Leonard. I don't know what kind of rules he's got, but truck driver, I'm like, dude, slap a magnet on your truck and say I buy houses in the number.
Right.
If you're like a last mile delivery driver and you're delivering to like gas station or something, you won't believe how many gas station owners have real estate.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like, hey, I'm looking to do real estate, and just spark conversation, especially if they're on your route every day.
That's good.
Right? That's telling your story, and you continue your hustle as a truck driver. There you go. Now your real estate's going at the same time.
Awesome.
That's dope.
Laura, how can I get access to Josiah or Ryan's buyer list?
Hit us up. Yeah, I mean, Keegley, is there anyone specific to reach out to?
Oh man, dude, I should have brought the list. I think probably the best would be go to keegley.com.
Okay.
There's a phone number on there, because based on what market you're in, right, you're going to work with the designated person there.
As for us, just hit us up on Instagram, me or Albert, and we'll do some deals.
Laura, where do you live? Let us know if you're still here. I hope you are.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
Yep. AI or Al entrepreneur. I think that's an I. What do you guys think? Yeah. AI entrepreneur. What's your buyer avatar? Is this are we talking to a bot? This might be a bot. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, oh my
gosh. Age, income, type of occupation, etc.
Dang. All right, cool. So there's different tiers for buyers. So I'm going to try and make this answer less complex.
It's a very analytical question, but I love it. Yeah.
So there's different tiers for buyers, and there's different, so you've got institutional buyers, which has a breakout into multiple different things, right? So
institutional meaning?
Institutional meaning the money isn't theirs.
Okay.
Yeah, in large.
So,
like
for
hedge
instance,
funds?
Like hedge funds, REITs, pension funds, endowment funds, right? Those.
Big words.
Yeah, big words, I guess. But so those, they're going to purchase a lot of property, which is awesome. They're just going to have a bunch of restrictions that you have to work through, right?
There's some hurdles. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some hurdles there. But if you find the right one, like we have some franchises that sell like 90% of their properties or 90% of their properties to an institutional buyer or institutional buyers, just because we know exactly what they want. They'll pay the most, and so it's like, sweet, here you go. Right, here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one.
Well, then you can from a lead generation standpoint, you can start catering your efforts towards what they're looking for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. So you've got institutional buyers. Then you've got as far as like age, income, type of occupation. You've got your professional fix and flippers and fix and flippers, investors, stuff like that. And then you've also got your, this mom and pop. This is their very first deal, right? That they're starting off with. As far as demographics, you're looking at between like 30 and 65 is normally the 30 and 65 in male is our primary demographic, but now women are starting to build in that space, which is really cool. And then as far as occupation, so you've got your full-time investors, which are the ones that you're going to do the most volume with. They're also going to want the best discounts generally. Yep. So there, there's a trade-off there. You're going to do more volume, you're going to give them better discounts, right. Or they're going to buy the properties that are better, and they're going to be faster, right? Yep. To see the good deal and then call and be like, I'll take that. Then you've got mom and pop or mom and pop where this is their first flip. They've seen maybe a couple TV shows, and you want to be able to help those people through the process of tag deal at some point. Right. Yeah, you want to educate them because you want them to do well. Yeah. Like our biggest thing is when we bring in a buyer, we want them to become a repeat buyer with us, right? And so we want them to make good money on that first flip. Well, if you aren't kind of saying like, hey, you should look at the neighborhood and what other flips sold and how much money they made and which one made the most and what that looked like, and then try to model your flip off of that, even that little bit of advice saves them from going in and putting in terrible looking freaking colors and stuff like that. But yeah, so that varies as well. Generally, it's younger couples that are looking to flip, so it's anywhere from 20 to 45
Awesome.
age.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and occupations are all over the place.
Yeah, I love that. I think that the institutional buyers and the ma and pop buyers are usually the ones that the process is a little longer. They want to see the property actually. Yep. They want to walk it. They want to get maybe some bids or something here.
Totally.
And your professional fix and flip, I mean, that's what we sell most of our deals to, truly. And they buy them sight unseen. Yep. They know the areas. They know their budgets. They've got it all figured out. So it's really interesting there. And if you build your buyer base with those professional fix and flip people, you are going to sell them easier, but make a little less. If you sell it to the institutional and the mom and pops, you got to do more work, but you're going to net more.
Yep.
Would you find that accurate?
Yeah, I would say yes. And I think it kind of sorts itself because you're going to push out every deal that you get. Right. Some deals are going to be better, and the investors are going to grab those because they're faster.
Here you go. You want to read that?
Me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude.
Silly.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm in Sacramento, California. How many cash buyers should I have for this market? What would be a healthy amount for a successful wholesaler in my market? Ooh, Vasily, good question. Can I take this one?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Sweet. So there's, depending on what healthy is, right, to you. So I think you're going to get consistent business. This is going to sound like a big number, but it's not that big a number. It doesn't have to be that big of a number. So I would say you're going to get consistent business between 1,000 and 1,500 buyers on your list. Right, and so that's a lot of outreach. You can do outreach through social media. You can hit up people on Craigslist. There's like lots of ways to gain 10, 20, 30, 50 buyers in a day. So it doesn't have to be hard to do. You can even, you can pull the list of buyers and start calling, right?
Yep.
And the best buyers have bought from other wholesalers, right? So you can look at tax records who bought from other wholesaler and go after that. It's a little bit of gray hat, and that other wholesalers are like, hey, you stole my buyer. So, be careful with that.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, it's not a thing, apparently. Doesn't even exist.
Listen. All of these buyers are on Tinder. You know what I mean? They're dating a lot of people.
Yep.
They're not just exclusive with one wholesaler to get all their deals.
Totally.
They're looking at everybody's opportunities.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your best class of buyer. Bought from another wholesaler. They know the process.
Is Tinder still a thing?
They can buy fast.
I think so. Yeah.
No.
No.
Oh, I'm just saying no.
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
All right.
definitely a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
That's your thing.
No,
Albert, all right, you wild man.
Oh no, I'm in a committed relationship, sir. Happily.
You're gonna get him into trouble.
Good work, bro. It's trouble. Good work, Albert.
Is that why you have that second phone?
Huh?
Oh,
man.
Wow.
Didi, that was a joke.
Brutal. Brutal. But yeah. So.
He does not have a second phone. Albert's girlfriend. He loves you, and he sees a bright future.
Very nice.
Okay.
Beautiful.
And he has a puppy at home.
Crushed.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So 1,500 wholesaler buyers, then tax record buyers, and then after that, you're going to shuffle into your social media buyers, your social media buyers and institutional buyers, right? And so if you can be heavier on the social media buyers, you can be heavier on Craigslist buyers. Some of those are still good, but anyhow, you get a smorgasbord, kind of a mix of all of those categories. Up to about 1,500, you're going to start performing very consistently. Beyond that, great. Then awesome. But 1,500 can support 5 to 10 deals a month.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go. What's your buyer base?
Dude.
Oh, wait.
So, yeah, I was gonna say this is a bad one for my mentor to hear, but
Yeah.
we did $250,000 with 5 people.
Right.
So
Dang.
I mean,
That's epic, bro.
Yeah,
Let's go.
it was literally, it was dad, it was 2 wholesalers, it was a buyer, like 1 actual buyer, and then this other guy was like a developer or something.
Nice,
I don't
dude.
know.
Awesome.
But it works.
I'm going to get Gil.
Cool.
Yeah, so from Gil, what are...
Okay.
2? Okay. What are the steps you take to build a massive cash buyers list? And I would say exactly what he just broke down.
Yeah.
And then more importantly, going back to like what I was talking about earlier with mindset, don't tell yourself that 1,500 number needs to be done in 10 days. Like, be mindful. If you want it to be 30 days, whatever's healthy for you, it could be 30, 40, 60 days, and it doesn't change too much of a direction. I mean, like I said also, we did it with 5. So building massive cash buyers list depends on the state, but if you're a local out here in public states, tax records is always going to be the best.
Yeah.
So, Gil, we are averaging $42,000 a deal here in Phoenix.
Oh.
The reason for that, we outline in the Cash Buyer Pack. If you'll put the TTP Insider on there, we've got a little download, Gil. Not a little download. It's a really great download on TTP Insider called the Cash Buyer Pack. Check that out. It shows you how to get your first 100 buyers. And once you get that flow down, the first 100 I feel is the toughest, because what happens is you find the 4 or 5 or 10 that are hounding you all the time, that want your deals, that are going to move real smoothly. And if you can expand and just make sure that you get a bigger and just know, the bigger your base, the more opportunities you have to sell different types of properties, and the more that you're going to make for the properties that you are selling, because some of those get bid up, or you just find people that are, now we're selling to real estate agents. We're selling to people that want to live in these neighborhoods through real estate agents that are training their buyers. You need to have a private money loan. You need to have a bridge loan and go in with cash offers, or you're not getting a house. That's how crazy our market is. You know what I mean? So we build that up.
Dude. That's cool.
Yeah, there you go. How do you vet your buyers? I'll leave that to the master here.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
So I think 2 things. So one, you don't really want to vet them on the front end, right? So some people get
That is key. Say that again, please.
Yeah, you don't want to vet your buyers on the front end.
I need proof of funds.
Yeah, none of that crap, right?
You need to put $5,000 with my title company before I send you a deal or something. You know what I mean? Some people are crazy. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you see that more, like, especially in Texas and stuff, because you get a little bit. Things get a little bit, the culture there is different than it is in other states, right? And so there's some places where it's more regular for us to have a conversation. You come to my office, you sign my paperwork before, you sign an NDA. You're not going to go around me. You're not going to circumvent or whatever before we do any type of business. I don't recommend doing that, right? Now, maybe 3 times.
So that's what's happening in Texas?
That's been the norm in Texas for a long time, right? So like Net Worth, New Western do that everywhere. But I think that's a great way to really slow down your business. So that's basically it. So we don't do any of the vetting on the front end. If you end up with a problem with someone, like they go to the house, they knock on it, they knock on the door, they talk to the seller, they try to circumvent you, obviously they're off the list. That happens about once a year. We do a ton of volume. That happens maybe twice, but probably once a year. Right? And so you can go a long ways just adding people to your buyers list. And if you add extra steps, it's the same with anything, right? Same with any type of internet marketing, anything. If you add extra stage gates, right, or extra gates that people have to jump through, extra loopholes or extra holes that gates have to jump through, fewer people get to the finish line, fewer people are going to buy from you. So.
Wow. Love it.
So don't bet them on the front end. Yeah.
I'm away from home for almost 12 hours because of a long commute. Jeez. How can my wife help me build my cash buyer list? She's a stay-at-home mom.
Oh, snap.
What do we got?
Lots of ways. I'm interested to see what's in Brent's giveaway for...
Well, listen, I got connected to the biggest dispo company in the world by going on LinkedIn and calling you. You know what I mean? So it starts with, I really like... scraping LinkedIn and reaching out to the people. If people put on there that they're real estate investors, real estate wholesalers, whatever it is, they're real estate agents that specialize in investment properties. Those are the conversations you want to have. I also, one of the biggest resources is just Zillow. We look at every single flipped house that's on Zillow that is has been sold or that is active in a specific area that we've locked up a deal, and we're going to call up every single one of those real estate agents and say, hey, I just want to say you did a fantastic job on your flip at 1212 Banana Street. I have one at 1215 Banana Street. Wanted to see if you wanted to take a look at it, do something special there. Do you want me to send you the details? This is off market. Nobody really knows about it yet, but I'm going to be talking to a lot of people about it today. So let me know as soon as possible if you'd like to take this property down. And then you do that again. And then you do that again. And then you do that again. And so you're building these relationships with people that are on LinkedIn and that are on the that are real estate agents, and then you can get a VA to do a pretty good job at DMing everybody in as you respectfully, like Hunter has done for years, and your whole team, with people that are in investment groups.
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
Yeah, all that stuff. So that's kind of the heart of that cash buyer pack. But I think that the first 100 should be people that are doing business right now. Dude. The other thing is, and I firmly believe in adopting other people's buyers, and so at some point you can build up your list and you can trade your list, and obviously you're not going to get. I have 100, and then I'm going to go trade with Josiah, who has 80,000. But I think that it's important once you do get that list that you make an introduction, that you try to put your deals in front of them and do a great job there.
Cool, awesome.
Yep,
crushed it, dude.
Ooh. Okay. Quite honestly, I want to just systematize the wholesaling / real estate process, cold callers, text blast, negotiations, and I handle dispositions. How much do you think that would cost? Well, first off, I mean, you got to make sure that you've done the stuff that you're trying to pawn off to somebody else. Otherwise, you won't be able to manage them properly. As for cost, I mean, I think the biggest cost is actually going to be your time up front for the first initial training with these people. Once you find somebody that could be like that management or the person that helps you with systematizing it, I mean, I don't really know how much that could cost. It could be anywhere from go ahead.
No, I mean, this is what Keegley does. Yeah. You know, Keegley doesn't have cold calls, text blasts. I mean, you guys do on some level, but the 80-20 on this thing is people come to you to dispo their deals. So it's building a reputation by having a big cash buyer database and being super responsive. I am telling you, this is the most underrated thing in our business, is actually responding quickly to people.
Dude, especially with agents, like with what we do.
Oh my god.
I mean, Albert, chime in, but like agents, if you are watching this, we are trying to buy your deals. Just answer your phone.
Answer your phone. Please.
Answer your phone.
It's just it's straight communication. It's all it is, and I don't know what it is, but lately I've been talking to agents, right? And for some reason, there's just a stigma around the word investor. I'm like, shouldn't you be happy I'm calling you with like the easiest offer? But at the same time, they're just like, no, we don't want that. I'm like, you haven't even talked to me yet. You don't even know what I want yet. It's not a deep discount. Maybe I want to buy it a little higher.
Right.
But it goes down to talking to people and just communicating. I'm like, you didn't tell me you took an offer. Why didn't you, like, we were already talking. Why did you go behind my back? And it's just, it goes back to talking to people, but it also goes back to burning a bridge. Like, I'm never going to do business with you again because you straight up just ignored me. I wanted to maybe come back to you, and they don't see the long term. It's just, quick commission.
Yeah, and I would highly, 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 highly suggest that you look into the Astro Flipping course.
Oh my god, dude!
I would.
Can I take a minute?
I mean, you're an alumni. You're like top 5 people in it. No,
yeah, dude, Brian's dope, bro, crushing it, man.
I don't know.
No. I mean, like, weren't you one of the first?
I was second.
Something like that. Yeah,
it was number 2. No, but seriously, just side note about Astro Flipping and Josiah while he's here. Like, if I've talked about this on my Instagram story, you'll see it when you go on social media. But like, if I have to tell you, like, all the people I've been around, no offense, Brent, sorry, Brent, Steve, bunch of partners, mentors, coaches, programs, there is not one out there from A to Z that will literally break down not even just wholesaling, but mindset, real estate foundations, what the process looks like. That's 3 weeks in itself before you even start talking about acquisitions. So this is the course, this is the knowledge that I have to be able to deploy to you guys, to my podcast, to our meetups, to our community. But everything that I have, seriously is due to this guy right here.
Thanks,
So
dude.
when I first
Thank you, bro.
started, I do have to put a little disclaimer. I kind of had one-on-one training for a little bit, like, but I mean that goes a long way.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah, being the
Appreciate it,
second student, I took a leap. I took a leap of faith with Jamil. He kind of like just put it on my lap, and I was like, dude, why not? You're doing 80 plus deals a month. I'm trying to get into this. Let's do it.
I think it's so crazy how big you guys are now. When you guys started and Jamil was doing the sales calls.
I know, it's awesome, bro.
The sales calls.
It's awesome. Yep.
People interested in Astro. Jamil was on the phone all day long selling the course.
Yep.
Now you guys have 15 people in each, I mean, it's
Do you
absolutely
want to know how I
incredible.
know that he was calling people? When I first told him I was going to be talking about the course, it wasn't even released at this point. I was like, hey, are we still good for 3 o'clock? I'll be there in like 30 minutes. Just send me the address. He's like, you're local? And I was like, how many people are you calling?
Yeah, right.
like, I'm not special. Like, okay.
Come on.
But then I showed up and it was like family. And they were like, this is our acquisitions. This is disposition.
Steve.
This is TC. This is marketing. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm a realtor. What is this?
Steve.
Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, so Astro Flipping.
Love it, dude.
I mean, come to me. I can get you a little discount. So.
Oh, there you go.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's fun, man. It's
Yeah,
cool.
so thank you.
And you
Appreciate
crushed
you.
it, bro.
Dude, I appreciate
The shout out to Ryan is that like we have group calls, right? Ryan's on every one. He's asking all the questions. He goes through the material A to Z. Like when someone joins a course and they don't finish the material, like I see that, and I'm like, dude, like.
Well, dude, and you didn't have restrictions at this point too, so it's like I went through like 3 weeks and like a week and a half.
Yeah, he crushed it, which is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I love that, dude. So, like, just your dedication and the fact that you're like, hey, I know that I gotta go A to Z through the course. I'm gonna be on every call. Crushed it, dude.
Well, it was action.
awesome.
It was action. That was the biggest thing for me. It was like the mindset week for me, dude. I mean, that alone, I've told Jamil this. I don't think I've told you. The course itself, week 1 of just mindset, nothing real estate related is worth it. Like, I was like going through it. I'm like, in 3rd grade, my mom and dad did this, and this led to this, and why am I figuring this out at 21 years old through a real estate course?
Yeah,
Like,
that's awesome.
But yeah, it was like that realization, and then honestly, the self-awareness that came with it, and then I was like, it's just action. Inspection period, earnest money.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do
Yeah,
it.
love it, dude.
Yep.
Good
So
stuff.
I
We're
appreciate it.
getting
Yeah,
questions
absolutely. Thank you,
piling
dude.
up here, boys.
Let's
Let's
do it.
let's
Sorry, side
get
note.
to 'em.
My bad.
You guys can
Thank
kiss
you, bro.
after this, all right? No. Do you send every property you get under contract to your entire cash buyer list, or do you send specific properties to specific buyers?
Ooh, good question. So generally the entire buyers list, right? So that's like our default is you go to the whole list. Some people are tempted to be like, hey, I'm going to do a special favor for this particular buyer. There's very few circumstances where that's justifiable, I think. Because the other thing is you got to feed your list, right? And so if you're handing off all your favorite deals, then what's your list getting? The worst deals, right? So what's that looking at? What's that doing to your reputation?
Right.
Then when you do need any other buyer that's not your best friend, they've only seen garbage deals and they don't open your emails anymore. So I think it's send it to everyone, right? And the email list this is the other thing is some people will say like, oh, well, they told me they only want this city, right? Now if it's a different state, don't send it, right?
No.
But if it's just I only
Don't
want this
listen to 'em.
city,
Yeah.
send it to the whole metroplex,
Yeah.
right? The email
I
now-
only want houses, and then they're like, yeah, I want that piece of land. You're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. It's weird. If you're gonna call them and say, hey, I just sent you an email, or send them a text directly afterwards, that's how you can service your best buyers. Say, hey, check your email right now, right? And give them that heads up. And then you only do that on deals that you know that they want, but you email them everything.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, Gil, here's the thing. Whenever I see the word like every, it's never going to be every, right? Like not all properties are going to be the same for our business. If it is, and I'll tell you a quick story why. So we had a deal that we had locked up for $330,000. It was an 8-plex, and this was a couple years ago before it just went bananas, right? So the price anyway, and we put it out at $440 and had a ton of buyers. The issue was on our buyers list was an agent that was the cousin of the current owner. So the cousin then sent the blast out to the owner. He saw that we were able to, put it out at $440, and he wanted more money. He wanted $70,000 in more money. So instead of $110,000, we made $40,000, which is still phenomenal. Don't get me wrong; I'm not complaining here. But what I'm saying is, when we have really big deals, we close it as soon as possible. We will own it, and we will send it out to everybody after we own it. because there's so many different, Kevin Bacon,
Totally.
7 degrees of,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, of connection here. So I get when it's a really big deal, I'm going to close that and then I'll blast it out to everybody. I don't have a problem there because I own it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that there's some advice there. And there's some situations where there's really tough tenants that need eviction, and there's only a certain amount of buyers that are willing and have the bankroll to be able to support that. And so I don't crush my one disposition guy with everybody calling in and saying, I want that deal, and him having to explain, well, you have to do this eviction. Even though we put it in the description, they still don't read it. They just see an address and a price, and they're like, I want this.
Yep.
And then we talk about all these other, ancillary things that are holding this deal back or kind of congesting this from being a real smooth deal. And, so we'll take it to specific buyers if it's a specific case. Or if the seller wants nobody to walk the property the whole time, like literally nobody can see it. We can't have pictures of it. We can't have anything. But I know it's in an area that's a specific buyer will buy anything, and they know it doesn't matter what the condition of the property is because they're going to do something amazing. We'll go specific to them.
That's good. Yeah, I like that. Those are great exceptions.
So, my mistakes equals your valuable lessons. Ask 80 deals a month. That's unheard of in my neck of the woods. How does someone do that? I'm used to just 1 to 2 deals a year through cold calling. Brent Josiah. I like that name. Brent Josiah.
It's not a bad name,
Yeah,
bro.
that's pretty cool.
I think they're
It's like
missing
you
one.
took 2 really great names and put them together.
They're missing
Ryan.
one.
Ryan Albert.
Ryan's like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
It could be
here?
the middle
Okay?
name.
That's just the first name, bro. Okay, your last name is cool.
Well, listen, that's very interesting, and I actually think that this is a really a good one for you. We'll get to it. My mistakes equal your valuable lessons, but you've done over 10 deals a month from just MLS deals, from on-market opportunities.
Yep.
So I think that could be an opportunity for somebody that maybe it's unheard of, but maybe you could get it on the market or off the market.
Yeah,
Or
I'd also like to know what market you're in, right? If that's, I don't know if we can do that goodness, but if we can figure out what market you're in, then maybe I can give you some direct
What's the
advice,
biggest income month Keegley's had?
Oh, geez, I don't know, dude.
Come
It's
on.
over. I think that biggest income month, we're over 7 figures. But
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're at up there. Yeah.
$1,000,000?
Dude.
Are we tap dancing?
Tap dancing, bro. I don't know. I'm just saying. Somewhere out there, okay?
1,000,000, 1,000,002 in a month. Yeah. So you have to build a machine for that. Obviously, you got to build systems for that. You got to grow that, and you need a lot of staff for that, right? I mean, what do you think the minimum staff would be to do 80 deals?
So, well, okay, to do 80 is there's a big
A month.
There's a big divide between like doing 35 and doing 80. Like 35 you can scrap together with 2 or 3 4 really high powered peeps, which
You're telling me I could have a team of 5 people, myself included, and do 35 deals a month?
it's what Jamil and I did with Hunter. So that's why I can say that.
Okay.
But that's not sustainable,
right.
right? Like, I don't know if we slept. You know what I mean? So, like, that's not
Okay.
that's not sustainable. You can't keep doing that. But I think that you can get to, like, 20 a month. We could, like, if it was Jamil, Hunter, and I, we could do 20 a month just cruising, right? 25, because I would be taking the calls. I wouldn't have time for anything else.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to build anything else.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing that, once you build, people are like, well, I love all these profits I'm getting at 35 deals. I love scraping it. I love keeping all this. I love this. But it restricts you from growth in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and if you ever leave.
If you're in the tornado,
it's over. Yeah.
If you're in the middle of the tornado doing all the stuff, wearing a lot of different hats, it's going to restrict you from that big impact.
Yeah, and so you have to step back somewhere between.
And that's tough.
20. Yeah, somewhere between 20 and
very
40. You're
difficult.
building the team, and you're stepping back on your capacity of what you can do, so that then you can launch past that and get to 80, right, or go beyond that. So, yeah,
Insane.
cool.
Bernie Mac,
Bernie,
Bernard.
let's go.
All right. How type of buyers pay the most? Which type of buyers pay the most, and how to find these buyers? So my personal experience, correct me if I'm wrong, I would say institutional buyers. We found out here, especially when we were working MLS deals, there were some specific neighborhoods and pockets that we could buy at 93 to 95% of ARV because I knew they'd pay 104%.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Let me ask you that with these institutional buyers, because the deals that we're doing, the deals that we're selling to hedge funds, we're doing very well with. and it's a very interesting time in our business. But we have to own them.
Yep.
We have to have title. Do you have to have title to sell to the institutional buyers?
No, the only thing that we
wholesale?
found with them was some of them want double close. So they want it to be on with them as the buyer on the purchase contract.
Yeah.
So that would be one. But then we also had a handful that we did deals with this year.
Yeah.
The only downfall I found with them was that they needed 72 hours to like underwrite.
Of course.
And so I'm like, okay, well, I just got a 3-day inspection period, so I've got to like
I
work
got
around.
my- yeah.
I've got to find another buyer, and then if they are here, I mean, but still, then it's a hard conversation. So
Yeah.
that was our only downfall. But I mean, you could double close. And
It also depends on size, right?
Yeah.
So like,
Yes.
if you're going to a really big institutional buyer, they've got lots of hoops and
Yes.
things for you to jump through, where they're going to say, "Yeah, no, you're not owner of record, so we can't do this deal," right? And then you'd have to buy it, right? So that will happen for sure. Smaller institutional buyers and some of the bigger ones now are starting to adjust, or we're making relationships high enough up where they will adjust for us. But yeah, where you can
Double close it.
Yeah, double close and then they're fine.
Yeah.
Awesome. Can you, Matt? Can you hear Ryan? Okay, he's kind of a fall. Yeah, he's
I'm trying
playing
to
the
play
yeah.
Oh,
So
sorry,
it's
dude.
each
Yeah,
other.
because
No,
you're in between. I got to lean over this.
I've learned to do it. Like, okay,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Lean back.
I don't know if this is really sustainable because this hasn't happened long enough for me to figure out, but I feel like the type of buyers that pay the most are the end buyers. Like you said, the realtors who are telling someone this is going to be your new home that flip, they will pay the most because they're not looking at profit margin. They're not looking at holding costs because that's their end home, right? So do you think that's a sustainable model? Just be looking like, hey, what are these agents looking for their traditional clients that want this to be their home or their 2-year fix and flip, stuff like that?
Yeah. Are you asking, is it sustainable?
Yeah, do you think it's that sustainable? Is that a good way to look at it?
No, I think that it's market specific. You know, I think that if there are enough private lenders out there, and if the market's really, really, really tight, buyers are forced to do that.
But do you
that,
see
that are
buyers
gonna
doing that?
live there?
Do you think that they'll like start to transition to that kind of a model for buyers to acquire properties?
If the inventory's low, I mean, listen. The fact is, you can look this up anywhere. You can Google it. Amount of properties built each decade from 2010 to 2020. Half as many properties were built as the previous 5 decades, because we went through the Great Recession. I mean, that hit and it really affected. And then, not only that, but then you throw a pandemic in the mix at 2020, and it really slowed things down again. So one, we have a lack of housing, which is legitimate. Yep. We have 30 million more people than we did 10 years ago in this country. So right now, interest rates are decent. We'll see what happens with inflation, but I think that they're going to probably play it pretty cool because they don't want to go too crazy with this thing. And you've got, or let me know what you think.
The 80s, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, and so you got lack of inventory. So right now we've got a window where there's a lot of money out there to lend. There's not a lot of properties, so people have to fight for it. So what do you do to fight for properties? You got to buy them cash. You got to buy them cash. Even if it's a house you're going to live in. Yeah.
Yep.
Not all of them. Not all of them.
There you go. This is what.
Oh, okay.
Bro.
Yeah, bro. You can do a lot
Bro.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do a ton, dude. So currently in Atlanta, Georgia market. Great market, tons of wholesalers here, very competitive. I have not heard of anyone doing that many deals in a month. The most I've heard of is 3 deals. Yeah, so lots of people. You can reach out to Chris Campbell, is our Keegley franchisee there, and a couple other amazing franchisees there that are starting to crush now too, which is really good.
Yep.
And so
Yeah. I would also look at REI Live. It's run by Brandon Barnes, and he is phenomenal. He runs an incredible group, and I would say probably a quarter, if not half of that group does more than 3 deals a month. So I would definitely go to that meetup, REI Live, Brandon Barnes.
yeah, and I would say the other thing is just go to Google and type in like real estate wholesaler Atlanta, Georgia, and join everyone's buyers lists. So just join there. You're going to get tons of emails, right? But then if you're going to be able to see what type of volume they're doing, and then you can check tax records afterwards to see, hey, dang, they actually did close 10 of these, or they did close 5 of these, or they did close 20 of these, or whatever. So,
Well, also, and you made this point before, but I loved And we still do it. We're on everybody's buyer's list. You see the addresses, and then you go back 45 days, 60 days, either yourself or the VA, and you see what LLC bought that. You do a little research. You find the managing member of that, and you call them up and say, hey, I see that you're buying these properties wholesale. I wanted to see if you wanted to get some more wholesale opportunities.
Yep.
The breadcrumbs are there. You know, it's all fair game. You can reach out. Listen, if you've got a deal, you're not going to restrict Josiah from selling his deal because he sold it to somebody else and then you sold it to the same buyer. We all have the same buyers on our list. They just have more, but we all have. I mean, for the most part, there might be some exclusive that you guys have, but for the most part, people are all over the place. So adopt those as well.
Cool.
Mr. C. Maine.
From Mr. C. So how do you know if the so-called cash buyer can really buy your deals or not, and not another wholesaler trying to daisy chain your deals that you have under contract?
Earnest money.
Earnest money, the only way to know. Yeah, seriously. I mean, you can preface it on the call, right? So you can be on the call with them and be like, cool, awesome, man. And then this one, are you taking down yourself or are you looking to wholesale it? Either's good. We probably do, you know, I don't know, I'd say 50, depending if you think they're a wholesaler, then you can say something like this. We probably do 50% with wholesalers or through wholesalers. We do 50% direct to buyer. So which one are you planning on doing on this one? I'm like, oh, I plan on wholesaling. Like, as long as you make it okay for them to tell you, they're just looking for that cue. And then most of the time, like, oh, I'm wholesaling. Like, okay, awesome, man. Just make sure to mark up whatever you want to make on the deal. So if you make 10, that, you know, if you mark it up 10, you're going to make 10. You mark it up 5, you're going to make 5. So that's normally on the front end, they'll tell you.
Earnest money. Non-refundable earnest money. That's what we're talking about. That's if you're going to commit to somebody that's going to take it seriously and not just be like the first person to like lock up your deal and hope and pray that they can sell it in the next 12 hours. Make sure that you have the language in your assignment agreement that says if they don't get the earnest money, non-refundable earnest money delivered to the title company within that same day, if they commit to it before noon, or by noon the next day if it's afternoon. That's kind of the rules that we play in our business. That'll really tell you if these are legitimate, real people that are going to close on it, or if these are going to be wholesalers. I love that you hit it right. I mean, you just hit it on. I think just opening it up and calling it out before they start giving you a story allows them permission to tell you, no, man, I'm going to just try to wholesale this. I think I got a great buyer for it. Yep. Fantastic. Listen, you know, I need to get earnest on this by noon. You've got a small window here. So if you're going to do it, go and do it. But this is your window. Yeah. It's just expectations, because I don't want to. The issue that I had early on is there's some big wholesalers here in town that would not blast out. They would commit to the deal, not put earnest in. We all know who I'm talking about. And then wait till the last 72 hours to sell this deal. And then all of a sudden, those people need more time. We have to now call the seller, tell them we can't close on time, tell them we need to push it back. They're threatening canceling. They're moving. They need the money. They need the money to move. Now my acquisition manager or yourself, you're scrambling around. It causes a lot of negativity. It causes a lot of toxicity inside your mind and in your heart. And it really does, right?
Yeah, dude.
And so that's why I say if you do it up front, it's better for the seller. And I always believe that if you're going to commit to a deal with a property owner, you need to be confident that you can close it yourself.
And I love the language in the assignment that you talked about, and then also language in the contract that says that the buyer has to close by 12 p.m. on the closing date. Because then if they don't close, or if you 3 days before you know that they're not going to close, they can't hold you all the way through the closing date, right? And you can slide a buyer in that's going to close in the afternoon, same day for the seller. So
money needs to be in 72 hours before closing. Now it doesn't happen, but it gives them it gives them something to shoot for, and then you can start bugging them 72 hours before to get their money in and get it closed.
Or realize if you have a problem. If it's not.
Oh, we wired it. Oh, you did? It's not there. Yeah, we wired it. We must have missed the cutoff time. It's 10:30 in the morning, bro. Like you did not miss the wiring cutoff time. What are we talking about? Yeah. No. We're sending it out. We're gonna get it there.
That's awesome.
We've all dealt with this plenty of times.
And then I think a little bit there too is just as you're working with the wholesaler, it's like, I'm looking to wholesale it. Just encourage them. Be like, awesome, bro. Like, you know, there is someone that's going out there in an hour. They're probably going to take it. Obviously, it's first earnest money. But, dude, if you can call me back in the next 2 hours and make it happen, I would love to put this together with you. we'll just need Ernest. And let's
That's a huge nugget, dude. There's so many people that are like turned off when they saw they send out a deal, and it's probably because they don't set the expectation of saying, hey, if you're gonna wholesale, it's okay.
Yep.
But they find out that it's wholesaled, and I see a lot of these guys that are sending out the deals. They get upset with the other person that wholesaled it. At the end of the day, if you got your price,
it's goofy, dude.
Who cares?
Yeah, don't do that, because those wholesalers have you want to leverage them. They've built that relationship, relationships with their buyers that you probably will never see or touch or make relationships with. So you have to go through them to sell to that buyer pool, and so be happy that they want to work with you and encourage them.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Abundance.
Totally. Yeah, that's right. Cool.
What are your current challenges in your business, Josiah?
Oh, snap. I think current challenges are probably talent density, right? Because as you're growing, as you're growing and you're expanding, right? We have some phenomenally phenomenally professional experts in both AC and Dispo and title, like across the board. As you grow, those people their capacity doesn't just increase, right? Yeah. So you see a lot of people that are like, hey, they might have a tight knit team in, let's say that they're in Dallas, and they got a tight knit team, they're doing business, and they're like, we're going to expand to Knoxville, right, or Nashville, right? We're going to go to Nashville too. It's going to be great, awesome. How many people are you hiring? Well, we're just going to do it with the same team, and then if it works, we're going to grow. Okay, all that means is I'm now going to do a lot less in Dallas, make less money, and then there's an aptitude curve for you to set up in a market that's like probably 3 to 6 months.
Love it.
So you're going to move into Nashville.
I think it's a year.
Yeah,
you would know better. But in my experience, it's a year before things are really starting to like feel comfy. You know, the shoes are worn in. You know what I mean? You're starting to feel a little bit more confident. You're getting the processes really smooth. You got your database is starting to understand, and you got reputation, right?
Yeah. No, I think that's bang on. So like, we track 3 to 6 months before there's a big jump in performance between 3 and 6 months if they've been hitting their baseline stats. Yeah. So getting them there is great if they've really been working it. When you get to a year, then that's when you're like, okay, cool, I'm settled. Like I feel good. This is consistent. So we're in alignment there.
Awesome.
But basically, you don't just get to duplicate that team.
Right.
You got to go hire that team again and train them, right? And so that's talent density. You're really talent dense here, but you don't have talent density on that brand new team, and they have an aptitude curve they need to push through. Yeah. And so that's the biggest thing in our business as we're growing is the onboarding and the processes that allow people to get up to aptitude or get up to speed as fast as possible.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Cool. Yeah. Would love another one. David.
Wait, is this guy related?
Wait a second.
Do we know David?
Is this your cousin? We got our cousins on the show.
Cousins? That last name there.
Well, he wants to know about you, so hit it.
It's a short success backstory with Albert. Listen here, David. My success story is just beginning, right? Very short and sweet. I went to college, did the whole thing, right? I graduated in 2019. And at that time, that's when I first really got into real estate. My dad had a rental, and with Vietnamese being his first language, there was a language barrier. So communicating between a renter and him was very difficult. I stepped in to be like, hey, let me talk to him for you. Let me just pass along to make sure all's smooth. Mom's happy, dad's happy, right? Yep. Once that left, I told my dad, hey, get rid of the renter. They're causing troubles. I can see they're in financial downfall. Like, it's time to go. Let this go. And I said, let's sell this house. He goes, no, it'll sell as is, perfectly fine. Again, like, I bet you I can get you more. And I got into that because he said, I want this much for the house. If you can sell it for more, you can keep it. And I'm like, all right, I'll put my own money in it, flip it. And here's how I flipped it. I took my toolbox, I took my truck, I went over there, and I swung it through the wall. And then when I found something I couldn't find, I looked it up on YouTube to take it apart. Yeah. And then from then on, that's when I got the bug of doing it. I'm working my 9 to 5. About a year and a half later, I took the leap of this year, and I said, real estate full time, let's take the jump and don't look back. And since then, I'm going for it. And I found that desperation, that fear of like, that paycheck's not coming in anymore. So it's like, I better do something to supplement my income any way it may be, whether it be flipping furniture, whether it be finding junk and selling it again, or even creating stuff, because I love to build stuff. I build stuff for other people. But to your point, Brent, I create value for them because they found the things that I create, it's a great piece for their home. Yep. So that's their little piece of value. And you know what, David, we're just beginning. So keep following. I hope you start your journey as well, because we're all in this together. You got to live up to that last name.
I love it. I don't think he knew it was. Yeah, that's incredible.
And also a little disclaimer.
Yeah.
The swing and the hammer, we found insured people for the part that needed to be done and insured.
Yeah, good call. Good call. Yeah.
There you
Awesome. I
go.
love
There you
it.
go.
Good
We're going
stuff.
to do one more question. You three have all been a big part of my real estate journey. Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
From Dylan, my brother and I are Astro students and just
love you
locked up
guys.
and sold deal number 7. Hold
Let's
on.
go.
Locked it up for $255,000 and Dispo sold it for $290,000.
There you go.
Josiah,
Go, bro.
pull down on the rope to ring it.
Oh,
There you go.
There we go,
Come
bro.
on. Come on.
Pull
Come on.
down on the rope.
Yeah. No, I mean, and then swing it.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go. There we go.
Let's go, Dylan. Good stuff.
Dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Brandon.
Oh, yeah, Dylan.
Good
Yeah,
stuff,
they were
guys.
just in here. Hey,
Crushing
listen, your picture's on the wall here, buddy. Yeah, I've got them on in my office. So, Dylan, great job. That is a phenomenal deal.
That's dope.
Young guys, too. How
Yeah.
old are they? 20?
They're 20s.
20?
20s.
Let's go.
20, yeah.
Yeah,
Dope.
Dylan,
Let's go, guys. Way to go.
congratulations.
That's awesome.
So, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That's a
Good to see
great
that.
way to put a bow on the show. I mean, fantastic. Real quick, let me do a little housekeeping because Batch here will kill me if I don't. Jesse Burrell and I are doing a incredible training tomorrow, actually on Friday. The link is right here from that. Okay, it's not here. We're doing this again 2 days in a row.
No, I have it.
Oh.
I'm commenting them. It'll be the comments. So it's clickable. Clickable.
Oh,
That's actually
okay.
pretty smart.
So anyway,
Looking out.
we're talking
Looking out.
about doing massive deals. I don't know if we're still on right now or if it's a Google screen that people are seeing.
No, you're still on.
Okay, got it. I'm seeing a big Google screen, so I don't know what's going on.
love it.
Anyway, yeah, so check that out. We're talking about doing big, massive deals. Do not miss it. It's going to be an incredible free training there. I've got a special Thanksgiving Day show. Your partner is going to be here, Jamil,
Sweet.
on Monday, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're doing a special Thanksgiving Day show. It's going to be absolutely bananas. And it's to say thank you. It's been a really, really, really great year sharing everybody's success here to the world. So we want to thank everybody and do a really special show on Monday. So do not miss that. And we will... And it'll be posted in the comments. Something will be posted in the comments. I think it's a link to the web, to the training. And then we are not here next week. Obviously, next Thursday is Thanksgiving, so we will be back the following week. It's going to be an absolutely incredible show. Josiah,
It's been a pleasure,
thank you,
bro.
brother. Thank
Absolutely,
you. Now,
dude.
listen,
That was fun, man.
for 90 minutes of your time,
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you got a lot going on, and you've got a lot of responsibilities and a lot of exciting projects moving forward. And again, I feel even though you're at a huge level of success, I feel like
Thanks.
just to echo Albert's, I think you guys are just getting started.
Thanks, bro.
So I'm
Love it.
excited to
Cool.
watch that.
Thank you, man.
And like the rocket ship that is your guys' emoji, you guys are blasting off. So final
you.
thoughts. You want to take us out?
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you guys. This episode was bananas, as Brent says,
Yep.
with Josiah. Dude, thank you so much for being
Thank
on
you for
here.
having me, man. Love it.
We love you guys, and we look forward to seeing you guys in a couple weeks, and we'll see you guys then.
See you guys.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bank